My name is Eric Grossman. I'm with the Coastal Marine Geology Program of the U.S. Geological Survey. We've been working with a number of Coast Salish tribes and British Columbia First Nations to map water quality along their ancestral highways throughout the Salish Sea.
My name's Eric Day. I'm with the Swinomish tribe, and I'm captain of the Swinomish Canoe family. It's like we're out here for sometimes 12, 14 hours a day. I always thought, seems like there's something we could do. In some way we can contribute.
Today we were towing water quality instruments that measure temperature, conductivity, salinity, pH, dissolved oxygen, and turbidity behind the canoes. And we collect the measurements every 10 seconds and use a GPS to fix those positions of the measurements and essentially map large areas over the course of a week or 10 days during the annual tribal canoe journey.
The journeys are kind of, you'll get a different answer for everyone else, but for me it's finding out more about myself culturally as a Native person and understanding where I come from. My job was to basically program and calibrate what's called a sonde. I'd kind of calibrate it in the morning just to make sure everything was working. We'd throw it out of the back of the canoe, and it would just continuously collect data every 10 seconds or so. Having this kind of data really helps out in giving another perspective on what we need to do to kind of clean up the environment.
Like no other peoples, these are water people, and they call themselves canoe people. They've lived here for thousands of years, living on the clams and the oysters that you see spread across this beach, salmon, shrimp, crab. That's their dominant diet. And water quality in the Salish Sea has been deteriorating over the last several decades. They realize that their shellfish are directly linked to the water quality. The canoes travel the nearshore environments. They go into shallower areas that traditional research vessels don't go. There just isn't enough information characterizing how extreme water quality conditions can be during different seasons in different locations, especially these shallow areas where the waters heat up a lot. So it's a real interesting way of monitoring and in fairly quickly, almost real time, detecting if there are impaired waters and where might scientists go to respond to them.
I just hope a lot of these areas that are really polluted right now get cleaned up, at least for the fact that we depend on this environment much more than we really take for granted.
The idea is to bring science and culture together to better understand what those cultural knowledges that Coast Salish have and what their cultural needs are, what their concerns are, and then to have scientists learn that. And so together we learn a little more about how things operated in their culture in the past, how they've been changing, what they're concerned with, and we can help share how science might address some of those issues.